Good evening, lovely spirits. It's your main man, Solace, the wise servant. Now here's wisdom. Men live, and then men die. So from a man's perspective, life is the beginning, and death is the end. But this is not right. See, death is the beginning, and life is the end. And life and death is just one thing, no different than morning and evening. It's just one day. So life and death, they go together. Death is first, and then you get the physical life. But it's a deep thing because men do not understand. See, a man knows he is born, and then he lives, and then he dies. But he never thinks about the time before birth, which is the time in the womb. And that is the death. That time in the womb is the death before birth. So the death is first, and then you have the physical life. And it's a deep thing because men do not correlate the life. They do not live by the law of as above, so below, and correlate things. They don't understand that life is revolving. There is no beginning, there is no end of anything, but it revolves. And it's a simple thing. It's a duality. You have two halves of a whole. And this is how life works. And it's a simple thing. Death is first, which is the time in the womb. And life comes after. And this is the order. And it's a very deep thing. The way men perceive things, it's almost like they see things in mirror perspective, in reverse. Men like to separate things. They don't like to see the similarities in things. So when they separate things, you create a space. And that space is where so much knowledge is left behind, because man is on one end of the separation, meaning they pull for one or the other, not seeing the whole. And it's a deep thing, because you have life and then you have death. And death is first and life is last. And men fear dying because they're living now and they don't remember death. So they fear dying, but they love to live. But it's a deep thing. Had men had understanding in knowing how to observe life, they would have fears of being born, not dying, but being born into the physical. Because that's the hell, the physical. And it's a deep thing. The moment you're born, hunger pains. Now, no baby or animal, natural instincts is to eat life, steal life, and eat it to sustain itself. No animal or baby has that in its nature, but it is taught this. So a bottle or a breast is put into the baby's mouth, and it is fed, and it is taught how to be a creep and not have no concerns for anything but itself. The same as the animal. The animal is taught to hunt for its food. It doesn't know this on its own. They would just accept their fates and want to go back to the death or the womb, because life is harsh. But you're taught how to become adjusted to hell. And it's a deep thing. I seen a stray cat early this morning, about 4:35 in the morning. I was going to the store, and a baby squirrel was running on the light pole, and he slipped and fell. So I guess the baby squirrel broke his back, or maybe one of his legs, I don't know, but he fell hard because it sounded like a book fell on the floor. So I'm watching the baby squirrel. The baby squirrel gets up, runs like 3 steps, then lays still. It's kind of discombobulated, trying to get itself together. Then this cat creeps up on it, just like a lion. I'm watching it. And the cat creeps up on the squirrel. So the squirrel tries to play dead, or maybe the squirrel was just kind of half knocked out, half not. So the cat came over the squirrel, and it was looking at it. I guess trying to smell it and get a sense if the squirrel just died or if the squirrel been dead. Because in hell, the living dead won't feast on the dead. They only want life. So the cat was over the squirrel observing it, and the squirrel made a mistake and moved. And the cat, it was quick. The cat killed it in like 2 seconds. But I don't know what the cat did. All I know is boom, 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 and the cat walked off or trotted off with a baby squirrel in its mouth. He mistaked the baby squirrel for a mice or a rat, or maybe he just didn't care. But I followed the cat, and he went back and devoured that poor baby squirrel. Now, what's the point? The point is this. In that moment, I knew this is hell. I said, I know I'm not wrong when I tell people this is hell. I don't know why they cannot see it. It's a deep thing. Y'all have no understandings of the observations. The things y'all see, y'all have no understandings of them. Y'all correlate them to absolutely nothing. And it's a deep thing. It's like the sun. The sun rises and sets. You know, like ray and set, ancient Kemetic, which I don't grasp. But anyway, the sun rises and sets. And this is nothing more than a small perspective of life and death, and how they go together, and they continuously repeat. And it's the same with dream and awake, or sleep and awake. It's just a small perspective of sun setting and rising, night and day. And this is just a small perspective of life and death. And life and death is just a small perspective of one day on a larger scale of life. So your day and night is not the same day and night for the living life within you. Grasp. It's a deep thing. People don't understand in these days and times the way we live. See, scientists tell y'all that we need water for life. And this is what men believe, that we need water for life. But this is wrong. You need fire for life, or light for life, not water. But y'all only think water because y'all greedy. And all the life thinks about is what's going in its mouth, in its pockets. Deep thing. So y'all think water is what's needed for life because it has to do with you being greedy. Basically, you drinking water or whatever you want. And you view all the different forms of life in this existence devouring one another. Because you know, all the life eats the life. This thing eats that thing eats that thing. So the life just eats the life, and you feel like, man, this is the natural way in order of life. Because all life is doing it. And you only feel that way because you're greedy. And you only concerned with self and sustaining self. So for you, you're like, yeah, that's the way. But you only say that because if you don't eat, then you'll die. And like I said, men are afraid of death. And it's a deep thing because had you had any wisdom, see, when you was born, you were so wise. So wise. In every minute of observation of this physical world, you got dumber and dumber. And it's a deep thing y'all have to grasp. If you can just tap into your wisdom before you got lost, you'll truly understand that the physical is what's going to make you lose yourself and knock you out of whack with the all of the life. It's a deep thing. Grasp this. Lucifer was cast into hell. Now, the moment you're born, view it as that. The moment you're physically born, you were successfully transferred over into hell. And it's a deep thing. Because men do horrible things to one another in hell. I got some things here that I was reading through. And there's many different hells in Hinduism. And I want to read a few to y'all because y'all have to know where y'all going. Now, you have so many different hells. But according to Hinduism, we're in a hell already. And I'm trying to find the name of it. But we're in a hell already. I cannot find the name. But there's many different hells in Hinduism. I have a list of them. But they had this hell in Hinduism. It describes everything we do now. And it's a deep thing because the hardest thing for men to accept is the fact that they're in hell or death. And it's just like a man in prison. When he first sent to prison, that's like the hardest thing for him to accept. Then he gets used to prison. And then he gets released for parole. But before he's released, he forgot how it was to be free. And he begins to feel a sense of nervousness of being free. And he'd rather stay in jail. And all brothers that have been in jail know what I'm speaking of. So it's a deep thing. It's the same with life and death. Because life and death, this is all just one thing, which is hell. We think life is life and then you die and then you get sent to heaven or hell. But y'all have to grasp. There's just the duality of one thing. You have death attached to your life because you live in death, not in life. If you lived in life, there would be no death. They wouldn't know what that is. Just like the dead don't know what life is. This is why y'all eat living things and it's like whatever. Y'all wear clothes of the living and it's like whatever. There's no acknowledgement of it. It's like you wear clothes, so y'all will push the burden off to the next person as if that's going to make you okay. And it's a deep thing you have to grasp. Because according to y'all beliefs, when y'all die, y'all gonna go to those pearly gates. And God gonna be sitting there with his pad. And he gonna tell his main man, the little lamb, Jesus, hey, can you pass me this brother's history? So he gonna pass you your history. He gonna flip through your pages, according to y'all beliefs. And then he gonna ask you, man, did you ever kill or indulge in killing? And you gonna say, no, Jesus, I don't do those kind of things. And then he gonna say, well, you ate. Who told you to eat? You can say, my mom and them taught me that. Well, that's killing and indulging in killing. To hell you go. And you're going to be sitting there looking dumb, confused. Like, but, and this is reality. But it's not going to be like that. In reality, you just going to die. And you just going to be with self. Because you don't know nothing. Stuck in darkness with your greedy ass self. Lost. Quenching and desiring to go back to the physical. Because you don't have no understanding of nothing but the physical. This is all y'all hold on to. It's a deep thing. This is why y'all reproduce. Grasp. Reproducing is a bad thing. But men don't understand that because all men are concerned with is stretching out their time in death because they think it's life, even though all they see is death around them. They eat and they make death so... Death is a cuisine. You sit around and have dinner and talk to one another. Just eating life. Like, how's your chicken? They don't realize that chicken walk around the earth and they cock. Or the rooster crows, and that ain't the same chicken to them. This food, and that's not food yet. So this is how men's mind work. They just turn slaughter and murder into a kitchen. It's a deep thing. Had you hunted and got your own food, you would grasp what you're doing. I'm not saying you would stop, because you wouldn't be in hell if you could stop. So if y'all, I don't expect y'all to see the way y'all live as wrong. I expect y'all to say, no, this is the order and way. And y'all right, this is the order and way in hell. In hell, it is however the beings want it. Grasp. So whatever y'all say is right, because this is y'all hell. So if y'all say no, Solace, the life is supposed to feed on the life, then y'all are right. Because y'all are the demons of hell, and it's y'all rules. Whatever y'all make up is how y'all get to live. So if y'all say the life is supposed to feed on the life, then so it shall be, and eventually you'll be fed on. Because at one point in time in life, men were prey. And it will go back to that again. And then men will be on the sideline like, no, I didn't mean it like that. But this is how men are. So it's a deep thing y'all have to grasp. But whatever y'all say is right. Because this is y'all hell. And had y'all not think that the way y'all live is so right, you wouldn't be here. If you didn't attach yourself so much to the physical, fear dying, things like this, you wouldn't be here. You're here because of the way you think. Now you can say whatever you want. No, I was taught to think this. Well, you have your own separate brain from the next person. Now, if you want to attach your brain to theirs and follow them around and say, yeah, whatever they said is right, then that's on you. That's a decision you made. So it's a deep thing. If someone leads you down the wrong path, all you have to blame is yourself. Now, of course, we will always blame the next person because this is the nature of spirits in hell. They didn't do anything wrong ever. Even though they're in control of their own piece of the life, it's never their fault. So it's a deep thing, but y'all have to grasp, y'all are attached to the physical. And this stops y'all from seeing it what it for what it truly is. And in you not seeing it for what it truly is, you're stuck. So it's like in Hinduism where they call it samsara, and you're stuck in the cycle of life and death and rebirth and life and death and rebirth. Well, the reason you're stuck in that cycle and you have to keep getting judged by Yama in Naraka is because of the way you think. You think the way that you live is right and you attached, and so you're a slave to those who make the rules. Grasp. Y'all believe in the law, and y'all vote on presidents, and y'all good upstanding slaves. So now you have to be that. So now when you go vote for a president and you do all that, now you have to live by the laws and rules of what you worship or follow. So this is my point. Spirits are judged and sent to hell because they're dumb enough to be judged. They're dumb enough to follow another dumb spirit that came into the life the same way they did. So you have a lot of scholars. You see a lot of them on Sonetta TV, and they'll say like, "Oh, this brother's wrong because this brother said." So it's just the dumbest thing I ever heard. A brother will tell me that the way I'm breaking down Kemetic science is wrong, and the reasons for that is because another brother that predated him and me said otherwise. He never met this brother. He doesn't grasp how that's stupid. You can't say you're wrong because he said something else. That's dumb. They're both just men. If I'm wrong, it can't be because of that. It has to be because of something with some intellect. But it's a deep thing. There's truly no intellect in hell. There's only antagonizing. There's only punishment in hell. Y'all antagonize one another and y'all beat one another. So you ever hear the things that the demons do to spirits in hell? It's talking about y'all and what y'all do to one another. Y'all torment one another and laugh at one another and antagonize one another and punish one another. And y'all do this to yourselves. And it's a deep thing. Because you tell a person, you're in hell, you're living in death, and they can't grasp that. Even though they know the reality has to be real, because we all die. So death has to be a real thing in the life. And some living beings have to live there for it to be a real aspect of the life. And we know it's a real aspect because we all die. And you see things dying all around you. So you have to have a half a brain to know, okay, that reality is real and people have to live in that. But you never think it's you. Why? Because you're like, no, death is what's coming. You never realize, like, no, dummy, you're in death. What you think is death was the beginnings. It was the transformation period. It was you going through the portal, coming into death. It's a deep thing. What happens when men are born, but they don't know. They like, it's so deep. It's so sad. My wisdom is, it's like just words to y'all. And this is where y'all get lost. Because when I speak, y'all hear the words. But y'all never grasp the flip end of that stick. So my wisdom to you is nothing more than words. And you'll sift through them and try to figure them out as you go. But y'all have to grasp. I'm speaking the words. So the knowledge I have ain't words. But I am speaking the knowledge I have. So grasp how deep that is. Because all the knowledge that y'all speak, it is what y'all heard. Grasp. You speak words that you heard. You put other people's words into your words. Now the wisdom I speak, no one else on this earth truly speaks in that depth. I speak the words, But before I speak them, where did I get the understanding? It wasn't from the word. I come before the words. Grasp. I speak the words that you've never heard. You hear them. So I come before the word. Where did the knowledge come before I spoke it? Whatever you think, you speak. So it's a deep thing y'all have to grasp. The wisdom is within. Before a man speak so that another man can hear what he knows, it is within his mind. So y'all have to grasp. If y'all take all the knowledge that y'all have and y'all sift it into piles of things that you know and you said and created, and put things in a pile that others said and created. Everything y'all know is things y'all was taught or heard or saw someone else saying or doing. You truly know nothing on your own. And this is what I be trying to explain to people. You have to know a thing to know a thing. Less whatever you know ain't nothing. And this is why when y'all read all these texts, y'all know nothing. This is why the Kemetic followers, all these brothers that you see on YouTube talking this Kemetic stuff, not to say anything's wrong with Kemetic, I love Kemetic, are them. But notice how lost the Kemetic teachers are today, because they're not teaching you anything for yourself. They're teaching you Kemetic science, and they're doing a lot of talking, but they're not teaching you anything about life and death that you can use. They're not teaching you to honor anything. Their whole thing is be a Kemetic follower, because Christianity is a lie. So grasp. And that's almost the agenda that all Kemetic followers are lost in. And they forget the point and the condition we're in. And the reason why the wisdom is supposed to be acquired. You're not supposed to be acquiring wisdom to show other men, look how smart I am. But you're supposed to be acquiring wisdom to save self. And Kemetic teachers of today have completely forgotten that they're in a messed up condition. Grasp that. Think about all the brothers that's teaching you. Are they teaching you any aspect of saving yourself from this existence? Or are they telling you nothing in a nutshell? Because you live and then you die. Now, if a person isn't teaching you about life and the point of it, and the point of death, and the point of this whole existence, meaning the universe and all the different universes that are in the big universe. There's no words for these things I'm explaining. But like I said, the wisdom is in. What's without is within. So if you can tap into self, you can see everything I'm saying. But there's no words for that. So the same way you have a bunch of micro cells within you, and you're the being that harvests all that, well, you have many different universes in the being that they're within that harvest them. The same way you have many galaxies within a universe, many solar systems within a galaxy. And these things harvest the life. It's like beings within a being. So you have many beings that are smaller than the being there within. And on that level, you have many beings also with this micro life within them. And they're just micro life in one being. And on that being's level, it's many other beings its size, and they have micro life within them. And this is how the life works. And all bodies are worlds, no matter what size. So you have small worlds. An ant is a world. He has micro cell life within him. It's a small world. You have many different sized worlds on the same levels, and you have many different size levels. And we're on our level, the micro cells within us, they're on their level, The solar systems are stars, which we like to call them, but they're nothing more than macro beings, solar beings, basically big ass people that we're in. We're the micro cells within this being. And on its level, there's other beings its size and a whole bunch of life. And they all have micro cells within them. And those micro cells will basically be us, or our level of life. And it's a deep thing. Men just can't seem to grasp. They just get lost into what scientists say, and then they get lost into nothing because they realize scientists lie. And it's a deep thing. It's like flat earth brothers. Y'all have to grasp this. Flat is flat. There's no dimension. There's no volume. There's just that flatness. And conscious is the same. See, a baby starts out, you can say, with flat conscious. It's no depth, no volume. It's just flat conscious. And as the baby goes through life, it builds up on its conscious, and its conscious blossoms. That flat conscious begins to blossom out. And blossom that way. And it begins to round out and fill out. And now it has volume and depth and dimension. So my point is this: if you believe the earth is flat, you're like the baby with the flat conscious. You think the earth is flat? Your thoughts are flat. You have to grasp. There's so much more to life in the earth than flat can cover. And it's just like a baby. His conscious is flat because he doesn't know enough. But as he knows more, his conscious will blossom. And as the flat earth followers begin to acquire more knowledge and wisdom and understandings, then they won't believe that the earth is flat anymore. And it's a deep thing. How wise can one man get is the question that y'all should be asking yourselves. How wise can a man get? Because y'all see me before your eyes getting wiser and wiser. I'm so far wiser than anyone on this planet that y'all don't even realize it, because the life revolves. So it's like a relay race. I'm so many laps past everyone else that y'all think I'm behind y'all. And it's just the funniest thing to me in my observations. But how wise can one man get? And if you ask any of y'all this question, most of y'all will say this or that. Think of something clever to say. But the truth is, a man can only get as wise as men get. And that's the answer. And if someone has wisdom, that will make all the sense in the world to them. How wise can a man get? As wise as men can get. How wise can a dog get? As wise as dogs can get. But what the thing is a man has to see what he is within. Because a man ain't nothing but the body. But within the body you have the being, the person. And a man has to tap into that so that he can get past the conscience of a man. Because men can only get but so wise, being as though men are born into death. So they're going this way, life's going that way. With the death you have lies, confusion, and chaos. It's like going deeper into the forest, deeper into being lost. So the wisdom that men get is truly not wisdom at all. They have wisdom of lostness. And it's a deep thing y'all have to grasp. Because how wise can a man get? Can't get wise. Can only get lost. And this is why you have to tap into what's within a man so that you can realize following your bodily or manly conscience will only lead you astray from truth. in reality, which is not this. This is just death. And I hope y'all grasp this one day, because it's a deep thing. You know, the other day, in school in New York, I think in the Bronx, a teenager stabbed two other teenagers, killed one, other one fighting for his life one day. The other one is fighting for his life still, one dead. And y'all just don't grasp this. This is kids. Kids are so evil. But y'all don't look and observe. Babies, 3, 4-year-olds. If you truly observe, they're so evil. Now, we taught them everything they know, so it's a deep thing. But spirits in hell are just spirits in hell. There's no babies here. There's no old people here. There's no children. There's just spirits in hell. And it's a deep thing. The moment a spirit is born in hell, which is the void, the lostness, spirits got to create reality for themselves. So like I said, whatever y'all say is right, because this is y'all hell. So this is how it works. Dumbass spirits don't know shit, so they just like, man, we gotta live here and make some stuff. And we gotta reproduce. Because if we don't, we'll die. And we gotta eat each other, meaning the life. Because if we don't, we'll die. And every aspect of the thoughts is just a sustained self. And this